Welcome everyone. The topic for the day is employer branding, power of recruitment. We are looking at an branding power of the employer as way to attract altogether. So let us understand what has been employer brand. According in the words of Christine Johnson, Director of Employee Communication, Form Shaker says, an employer brand is about capturing the essence of the company in a way that it engages the employees. It is who you are as an employer. It conveys your value proposition, the totality of your culture, system, attitudes, and employee relationship. It encourages your people to embrace and further shared goals, success, productivity and satisfaction on a personal and a professional level. So what is looking into it? It is the brand name which attracts the talent that goes around it. It is all about value proposition. If you look into it, this is the value proposition that comes around it as an employer, which is the totality of your cultures, your system, your attitude, your employee relationship. This is what it counts all to. We move to the next particular thing. So we'll talk about core principles of branding as far as employees are continuity. Number one is inside. It is the value that it brings around it, the quality of life that it comes around associated with a particular brand, a particular company, a particular organization. Remember, the quality is consistent in terms of pay, in terms of incentive, in terms of perks, in terms of facility that has been extended. Look into it. The focus, a, a particular organization, a particular employer will have a brand when it does not remove this focus, be it on quality, be it on employees, be it on customers, be it on technology. The focus is intact at any point of time. This is of vital importance. Then comes the benefit factors. Yes, it should benefit all the stakeholders of the employer. When I say about benefit, it is not only vendor that needs to be enriched. It is the customer who gets a quality experiences altogether. It is the shareholder who gets a dividend on a daily basis, on a quarterly basis, every quarter. It is the employee who gets a bonus, who gets an incentive, which is very transparent with a very transparent practices. Then there is something called differentiation. At the same time, a brand needs to be differentiated from other organization, other brands, as to why it commands a premium segment. Then comes the continuity, which is akin to consistency. Remember, as far as the facilities, the quality, the things that has been given to a employee or a customer, it should remain as uniform as possible, despite from any corners of the world that you might be experiencing the product or the services. If there are after sales services that is required, they should pronounce everything that has been done. We talk about attraction of appropriate talent. How do we go around it? Now this is where we offer prospective candidate tangible benefit. Why do we give a benefit? Based on evidences. Now what is intangible? It's all your incentive that we go around it. Depends upon the performances, and performance needs to be very smart. It should be specific, it should be measurable, should be attainable, it should be realistic, it should be time bound. Now that will gives a clear transparency as to what an emotional link that can be built around it. Once people are working and achieving it, the motivation gets definitely chucked on. It gets attached to the individual, it gets attached to the brand, it gets attached to the employer, and the employee gets magnetic all about the persona as far as the retention, and does not even think of leaving the organization. So basic positioning of an or an image of a company is a great place to work, indeed a vibrant place to work that goes around it. Keep this thing always in places all together. We will talk about the making employees stay. How do we go around it? We have to talk about the pulse of the organization. The pulse can be vibrant, the pulse can be vibrant. We need to understand the people associated should be very motivated, our team to motivated, creating a welcoming work environment that goes around it. We need to understand this. Yes. Then comes the functional area. The functional area is the human resource altogether. We need to understand the functional areas to study the employer brand impact of an employee retention, the concept of branding clubs, human resource management clubs with the brand management principle. It is more a need of a trend than anything else. This needs to be understood as far as employer branding is concerned. It should even stick at good times, even in bad times, and definitely at the worst time. It is actually the organization which emerges good or bad employer brand altogether. Now we come into the justification part. Now, what is the justification that comes around as an employer brand? First and foremost thing is an internal quality that we built around here, right? And the this quality can be built when there is a wonderful experience to the customer. Now, what is this customer experience? The customer always experiences because it will convey to the promises that the brand will be making it to their employees and the return to the employees altogether. So we have the internal customer and the external customer altogether. Everybody should be remain satiated. All their requirements should be remaining fulfilled. That is what is required. We talk about analyzing the objectives. What do we go about? The employer branding is all about it. We need to understand the reasons. We need to analyze the strategies of employee branding, how to develop a brand, with the various elements and aspects of employee retention, the loyalty factor. Why does an employee stick to a brand altogether, stick to an organization for longer time duration, and the correlation between the branding and the retention purpose altogether. Thereaway, we need to build upon the brand equity. That is what we are looking at it. A captive business unit is an entity functioning offshore as an entity of its own while retaining the work and close operational tie-ups with the head. So we have the strategic business unit. Remember, there might be the corporate office, then there might be something called a strategic business unit, and there can be a different geographical location altogether. They might be present in different places. We don't know about it, but all of them should have the same ethos, the same culture, the same style, the same processes. A captive unit is one way of establishing the presence in a cheap labor market rather than outsourcing the work to a third party company established offshores as such. So we need to go around it and probably have the company's principles, cultures being practiced, and probably set up so many strategic business unit or a cap unit, the way you want to go around it. Strategies of employer branding: active employee involvement, identify the needs of the employees and design program as per the requirements. Look at it. Companies intranet which needs to be taken care of, policies and procedures template, recruitment, advertising, work environment. Yes, you have it. These are the strategies that needs to talk about it. We not need to talk about employee engagement. We need to look into the requirements of the employees and his or her immediate family members. We need to see upon the principles or the objectives of the companies as such and incorporate those things in the template. Definitely, yes, and have a wonderful, conducive work environment to for. Now comes about the employees. What are the employees looking into it? Employees looks only on four factor, most of which are compensation and benefits, the money at the end of the day, what has been his takeaway to the home, what are the career progression that can be talking about it, promotional avenues, where does he or she sees in 5 years, 10 years time, what are the rewards and recognition which are short term, which are being catapulted them into the focus, what are there, what are the team spirit that goes around it, and yes, the transparencies of communication, how well it has been fabricated. So this is what we need to go around it. Career Connection is a cutting edge initiative seeks to maintain connections with valued alumni who chose to take a career break. Initially, the program is focused on Bank of America alumni, but will later broaden to the scope altogether to include top talent. Now, this is what a particular case that I'm trying to refer to you with a program which was there with an alumni of a particular organization, of a particular institution or university, and probably develop later onwards the top talent from other organizations. So first you do it from one particular source and then expand your base altogether. The target population, remember, the target population is high potential seniors or mid-level executive, while off-ramp participants are will be invited to the company's event to build, to strengthen the skills, to give a proper exposures altogether. A peer coach can customize onboarding plans, will help them when they are ready to return. A programming is the integral part of the long-term strategies to retain key talents. This needs to be taken care of. So career connection is the cutting edge initiative that brings accolades to the organization towards the employer as a brand for attracting raw, attracting pure, attracting the best, of course. Organization brand themselves for following reasons. Let me allow you to explain. First and foremost thing, it has a huge recall value, it has a huge branding image, it has a great connect with the profitability. If you are always at the top of your mind of your consumer, nothing can beat it. To distinguish themselves between amongst their competitors, to identify the uniqueness, to communicate an idea that represents organization philosophy towards the customer. And believe me, there are so many brands which can have the philosophy of being transparent, have the philosophy of being vibrant, has the philosophy of being young at heart, has the philosophy of being quality conscious, never been compromising on quality for employee engagement and retention. This is the maximum thing that we are stressing out here, definitely to be understood by all of us, to reflect the retention initiative, the cultures of the organization, whether the organization has been in existence for last few centuries or will be for the forthcoming few centuries. Yes, the culture needs to be changed from time to time, but basic principle with basic core fact remains strong. And that is the reason why employers brand themselves, why organization gets to go and values themselves as a valid brand. This will keep them at the uppermost echelon, at the recall factor of their customers, keep the competitors away altogether, and it translates to easy profitability of. No, we will talk about the aspects of employee retention. How do you, what are the aspects, what does it benefit? It is all about valuing and using creativity. Innovative employers with novel, absolutely new work practices, forward thinking. Let's say we have flexi timing right now. Now we are also looking at work from remote places altogether. You did not come to a designated office spaces to complete your work. Clarity of roles and responsibilities. The work environment has been very young, very vibrant, very youthful. You know, it should be all be transparencies. People are talking to one another. The organization is no longer a top organization, it is becoming much more a flatter organization. So the work environment actually infuse a lot of confidence in yourself. Celebrating and communicating success, organizing training program which helps in increasing career promotions opportunities within the organization. Remember, making the work tenure of an employee a career enhancing experience. This is what it makes it count. Making the work tenure of an employee a memorable one. Remember, if if your employees enjoying every moment of their stay in the organization, not only they will remain a happy employee, not only they will remain a loyal employee, but the productivity will skyrocket manifold altogether. So this needs to be understood. Any small happening, get togethers, any small accomplishment needs to be celebrated, needs to be communicated. The whole team member should be at one board. There should be a sense of we feeling among us, the all the employees then and there. So we've come to the last particular slide of the day altogether. So why employer branding? Because it gives a very good interdepartmental exposure. This is a must. Organizational pay benefits can be altered definitely towards the benefit of the organization and the employee thereby. With I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.